activation of your brain cells. It helps you to become active, energized all the time because you need to do your task or whatever. Then coffee, it helps you to be alert. You will not be feeling sleepy, something like that because of the caffeine content for that. And it will work best if without sugar for the lowering down of the blood pressure. Okay? And also, lowering down also as far as I can remember, it flashed back in my memory now, it also lowers the chance of type 2 diabetes. If you drink coffee without sugar, I mean without sugar, or or low sugar is okay, right? But for me, I prefer no sugar. One siya para mo activate sa pag-fight sa potential type 2 diabetes. Okay, I read this in again, Harvard University Public School of Health magazine. Okay, based on their studies, like blah blah blah, experimented in laboratory, whatever. Okay, welcome back to my YT channel, Health Science topic. Okay, going back in combination of pure sciences, specifically at this point in time, biochemistry and organic chemistry. Diba? Kaloka. Man ako intermission number. Later, may intermission number ako. Sharp. Okay, ako pa ang intermission number, ako pa ang speaker. Charot! So, ganun talaga ang life. Wow, no choice. Okay. So, I'm gonna use the red. Okay, red, this one, red. Red means blood. Diba? White, red blood cells. Hemoglobin. Wow. Kakaloka. Alright. So, triglycerides. Ganon siya, guys. Ganon. Triglycerides. Makita ba mga palangga? Okay. Makita nyo? Okay, go. Triglycerides. Now, before going further, we must understand the term glycerol. Glycerol, glycerine, related. Glycerine, what else? Glyceride, we already discussed that so many times. Glycerides like this. Okay. Okay, glycerol will act as an alcohol. Glycerides will act as an aldehyde, at the same time as a sugar. And the glycerine could either act as a protein, amino acid, or a hormone. Let's find out that one because it ends with INE, something like that. Most of the protein ends with INE, like for example, bilirubin, creatinine, keratin, like that, melanin, something like that. But you should be confused also with another hormone. That's why I need to vlog sometimes, not sometimes, after 3 days. Let's find out what's the difference really, a hormone and a protein and an enzyme, because it ends with INE usually. For example, if I have glycine. So how can we identify this? It's amino acid, protein, hormone, enzyme. There's such there's a gray area, GREY. There's a confusion part, technically, something like that. So, for example, glycine, diba? Glycine. Okay, we have also leucine. Okay, we have also cytosine. Guanine. Okay, uracil, thymine. Mga ganon-ganon. Okay, so maglibog ka, caffeine. Okay, adrenaline. Okay, bilirubin, creatinine, keratin. Ganon, there's a lot of How can we identify this, guys? Okay, what's the rule for this? Aside from having the knowledge that we have 21 amino acids linked together during the translation process of protein synthesis, right? They're linked together in an orderly manner as per the genetic code information, the nucleic acid, right? We have also that. Okay, so maglibog juga ang higayun lang. Okay, but it's okay. So let's find out. Okay? And we cannot assure you that we can show you everything. It will take a lot of years to do this one by one. Really, the structural formula. For example, adenine, pyrimidine, like that, nicotine. nicotine in our teeth, it become yellow. That is also a substance that deposits in your teeth. Something because of high presence of nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Okay, the one of the most high energy carrying molecule found in our cells in all living organism. But if you have more than that and driven to smoking, something like that, then it will develop nicotine in your teeth or yellowish teeth, something like that. So you should also be careful, for that issue. Because if you look yellowish teeth, and you will not be looking attractive. Something like there's something wrong with your personal hygiene. Okay, if you're a yellow teeth, nobody wants that, right? Unless you always close your mouth. Something like that. And usually if your teeth is yellow, it's also directly proportional that you have a bad breath. Something like that. Okay, it goes together. Okay, so be careful also with the nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Okay, although this has the same function with adenosine triphosphate, but you should be careful for the formulation of this. Okay, ganon, an intake of our body. Okay, so ganon siya. No, ang glycerides, kayo ano siya? Charot. Okay, so glycerol. Guys, now I will introduce you another theory. Okay, this may come in the exam or not in the future. It's because sometimes it will say, blank, known as a sugar alcohol. So you'll be confused. Alcohol is a sugar? It's not. It's not the same thing. But there's a sugar alcohol. The sugar alcohol is your glycerol in your body. The normal glycerol we biosynthesize inside our body. Not necessarily you will drink sadiki, beer, whiskey. Even though you will not drink that one, we can manufacture through biosynthesis inside our body. This one, sabi na kondida. Okay, the glycerol. Bisaya kikunda ko. Charot! Okay, glycerol. Because that's an alcohol. Sugar alcohol. Okay? Muna siya guys. Okay? I will discuss further. Okay. So glycerol. Okay, this one. The formula of glycerol to 3 carbon atoms. Ganon siya chuba-chucho. Okay? Ganon. Glycerine guys, basically, if you speak about glycerine, that would mean also glycerol, ha? It depends na talaga sa how you orient or how you arrange the molecular structural formula during the spacing in the Haworth projection. Haworth projection? No, it's not. Fischer projection. Because Haworth is more on the cyclic structures, right? Because there are 2 ways of how you structure the organic chemical formula. You have also the Haworth projection structuring, and you have also the Fischer projection structuring of the organic chemicals. Then the cyclic structures, it looks like it's very difficult and it's not used all the time, right? It's the Fischer. Fischer projection in organic chemistry, the formulation and orientation of the chemical compound, was discovered by Mr. Emil Fischer in 1891. Okay, his name is Mr. Emil Fischer, 1891. That's why it's called Fischer projection of the chemical structural formula, particularly in hydrocarbons and in organic compound. Okay, another theory, right? Okay, so glycerides. Ganon. Okay, glycerol. OL family again, just like ethanol, pentanol, hexanol, propanol, methanol, butanol. So there is obviously hydroxyl group attached into it. OH negative 1. Something like that is very obvious. If you think about OL at the last, OL, even cholesterol have also OH negative 1. Though cholesterol will not act as an alcohol, this is very special because of the high molecular weight alcohol family. When we mean of family, it doesn't necessarily mean have the same function. Okay, it's only in the family, in that particular tree, something like that. For example, if you have a family also, there is a medical course, there's also an engineer, things like that. We need to calibrate our intelligence regarding that matter. Okay? Though the same family, but they don't have the same characteristic, they don't have the same properties. Though have common, but there's still another characteristic that the other don't have. That's what I mean here. Cholesterol is also like that. Though they are all alcohol family. The ethanol, methanol, butanol, propanol, cholesterol, glycerol, something like that. S in OL. Except for the paracetamol, mga ganun, because it's really another thing. Okay? What I mean, kanilang siya. Okay. Oh, glycerol. So, 3 carbon atoms first, what comes in your mind? Have some glycine, chuba, chucho. 3 carbon atoms, so put that in your brain cells. If glycine, chuba, chucho, then put on siya mga word, so Sotero, there are 3 carbon atoms for that. Because again, guys, when you take a BS Chemical Engineering or BS Chemistry, there are problem solving like that. So, calculate the amount of glycerol that will dissolve to blah, 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 and like this. And there's no chemical reaction given. You know what is the chemical formula of glycerol. Now, if you keep on depending on the book, right? In board examination, you are not allowed to bring books. Okay? And another issue, if you just scan every time in the Paris Chemical Engineers Handbook, which is our book during board examination, it will take you also time to scan. Okay? Every time. You should be dependent for that. Your time also will be consumed. Okay? There's a lot waiting for the problems to be solved. So, memorize the basic organic compound and do it day by day. Second to second, minute to minute, and then after 365 days, how many organic chemicals accumulated in your brain cells? Okay? How many inorganic compound accumulated in your brain cells? Things like this should be a culture and attitude if you are taking BS Chemical Engineering and BS Chemistry students. Not only this, also related to medical science. There's a lot of memorization. Okay? You have to do that. Buwis buhay. Okay? Get the point? Now, glycerol, 3 carbons. Okay, practice that as early as you could high school. Okay, right? It seems so we have already, in fact, we have already a little chemistry in grade school level during our elementary and after high school. Hindi ko na siya mawa ang chemistry, naagay siya premise. So, at that time, develop na memorization of important chemical formula, blah, 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 so and so, compounds, so that when you are loving to take related to that course, then bingo, it's easy for you to understand, really. Okay? So, carbon, not depend in college, you take, that's the time also you study like that, late na. Unless you are very intelligent and superior in intelligence that you are really, but there are only few who are gifted to that. Okay, very consistent honor student. Even though you will not prepare something, it will be just put in their minds. But you could not expect all students to be smart. Most of them are average, right? Average or a little bit higher average, but not really that superior. It's only few chosen. The gift of God given to them. It's not all to be a high IQ. So for yourself, do it by yourself until you will develop the culture and attitude of having too much knowledge accumulated in your brain cells, what we call stock knowledge and acquired knowledge, starting from elementary, high school, and then college. If you really want to take a course related to science. Okay, but if you want really to take up many matters, you don't have to do so, but you also have to develop numbers, subjects, or math in order for you to be comprehensive enough to learn those things when you grow, BS Accountancy, this banking and finance, like that, or BS Mathematics, something like that. So, di mo sa kayo kaganahan of science, so do the other thing, like that. But sad to say really, science is always there in different curriculum. You have no choice, you have to study. Okay? But that is not the more important part. We need to learn science because to survive in this contemporary world related to our health. There's a lot of science inside our body. The way we move, the way we think, the way we act, the way we sing, the way we make the report, the way we, whatever, drink, eat. Science is always there, second to second, minute to minute, and we should be familiar. What are those basic things in this? Like that, and you will, wonder why. You'll at least have a wild imagination. This is the clear thing. You must have at least wild imagination if you want to become an engineer or a scientist. Something like that. So 3 carbon atoms, like that, is glycerol. Oh my gosh. So, glycerol OL, then OH must be there. Okay. So how many OH? Of course, 3. Okay, like that. Okay, aldehyde group. Ganda Okay, C, ganon, ganon, tadadat, 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 tadadat. Guys, glycerol have no double band, but glycerides have double band. This is the difference, huh? Okay, so we have but the same three OH, the same three carbons also, okay, so OH. You can really understand that if you try to draw the structural formula, not just only listening, but you have to draw by your own, to practice that daily ala tool. Like that, every moment, every second, like that. So that you will be familiar with what's going on here. Yan, dito ko liga akong chan. Oh, that means you have a lot of triglycerides level in your abdominal. Because 80% up will be, the main constituent are triglycerides. If your stomach will become bulge, if you become fat and obese, it's always triglycerides. Okay, plus the cholesterol level, but not that too much. O nga naman siya, guys, uy, may kuwan lagi ni itong, in fairness. Okay. Hala, there's a reflection of light. Wow. Photons. Okay, photon particle radiated to my screen. Di ba quantum mechanics? So, okay, like that. Wait, pahawa diha! There's a mosquito, okay, and then going to my screen, and then it reflects the color of the screen becoming black because the mosquito is a black, right? And then it radiates the color of the mosquito to the screen. There's a reflection in physics, right? Reflection, diffraction, and interference in physics, right? That's the topic of physics. Okay? That is our topic today. Hoy! Pahawa ng mosquito eh! Kaloka ka. In fairness. OH. Ganon. H, 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 H. Fischer projection. Wow. Okay, so this is count. This is glycerol. Count. Chupa. Here, CH2OH in the first group. Here at the top. In the middle, I label 2. Okay, this is CH2. Okay, 3 CH2OH. Use this formula and have a summation. Total the number of carbon, total the number of hydrogen and oxygen. So how much? You will count 1, 2, 3. Of course, 3 carbon atoms. Hydrogen, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Really? Yes, 7. C3H8, H7, sorry. OH, 1, 2, 3. So OH, 3, then parenthesis, subscript 3. So this is the formula now of triglycerides. 3 atoms of carbon, 7 atoms of hydrogen, and there are a hydroxyl group 3 times. Or this can be expressed as C6H8O6 general formula, the same as the vitamin C and the ascorbic acid. Okay, the count, if it's really proving that it's gonna be equal, carbon 3 like that, and check if it is okay or not. Okay? Ganon, chupa-chucho, ha? Be careful also. So 1, 2, 3, ganon. Okay? You get the point? You get the point, guys? Okay. And then memorize everything, and then blah 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 we come up. I will erase this one up here. Kalas. You get the bunch of paper. Okay. Muna siya may tabo. Okay. Nakakaloka na wala ka. Char. Going back. To produce a glyceride, this were after of the product. To produce a glyceride, we need to have a process known as esterification reaction. Esterification, meaning to say, guys, it is the same or equivalent in, wait, I should remember. In chemistry, this is equivalent to, on the spot vlogging, patay. Okay, neutralization reaction. Okay, acid plus base is equal to salt plus water. Let's put so that we can understand really. Okay, so acid plus base in our chemistry. Acid base plus base is equal to salt plus water. Let's try to have a comparative study if it is also applicable in organic chemistry. Okay, salt plus water. Okay, now in esterification reaction, it's gonna be still acid, but here carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid, RCOOH. Okay, R, single band, carbon, double band, oxygen, hydroxyl group, plus the base. This is normally coming from the alcohol family. Could it be ethanol, methanol, propanol, like this? OH have hydroxyl automatically a base. No one can fight for that. It's really a base. Okay? Anything chupa chucho. So let's say our base here is a glycerol. Of course, we are dealing with triglycerides, right? Okay. This is gonna be like this glycerol. Formula of glycerol like this. Tadadat, tadadat. Okay, tadadat, tadadat, tadadat. Ganon. Okay, pila ka alcohol guys? Pila ka hydroxyl? Tulo. O, di lang. Ano siya? Okay? Akong gipapas din naman po. Sige lang. H, 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 H. So this is carboxylic acid or organic acid. Okay, glycerol or organic alcohol. Because we have also inorganic alcohol. Ito mga ethanol. Okay, like this. And then equal to the salt. Now our salt here will be our triglyceride. Okay, triglyceride will act as a salt. Okay, here in organic chemistry, but the term is not a salt. The term is ester. Okay, ester. This is called esterification reaction because of the product ester will produce after neutralization reaction of this organic acid and organic alcohol. And then in the product also, we have water. Because after this organic acid and this glycerol will react, the water in there will be transported to the product. It will be removed. There will be a dehydration process. The water will be removed. D means removal. Okay, that's why dehydration. Water means hydrate. That's why dehydration. Okay, there's also dehydrogenation. But hydrogenation, focusing only to the H plus. Be careful also in using in chemistry. You see dehydrogenation is just basically the same. But take note, dehydrogenation is only removing the H plus. But dehydration is removing the entire water molecule, not only the H plus. But basically have the same idea, removing the water. Okay? I'm trying to be technically precise lang. Again, dehydration, removal of water. The molecule, one molecule of water itself, H2O. Now, dehydrogenation, removing only the hydrogen, not necessarily the oxygen. Okay? So that's the difference. And it will occur somewhere along the way in our different organic chemical reactions later on. The D and the high, like this, dehydration, okay? Wait, hawa, wait! Apili siya sa akong vlogging. Char. Okay? H2O. Ganon. Gamit siya kayong kung ano ko matagbaw sa akong whiteboard. Okay? So, ester. Ganon. So, acid plus base, organic acid plus organic alcohol is also the ester plus water. Okay? Imagine we don't have water at first, but the water will just be produced due to the reaction of alcohol and acid in your body. Not necessarily you will drink water. That's what I mean. Through biosynthesis lang din talaga siya. Natural chemical reaction inside our body. Because we have so many kabush, carbohydrates in our body, rice, like this, that contains, glycerides, chupa-chucho. Okay? Ganon. Now, since ang aking whiteboard is very small, I have to erase this, right? Kaloka. Okay? It would not be enough. It cannot be accommodated in one setting. Oh my gosh. Okay, now. Ako ibutang diri ang product na taha. Sa product na taha. Okay, ako i-explain. Okay, now we have the glycerol. Again, you have to throw the glycerol. 1 carbon, tadat. 2 carbon, tadat. 3 carbon, tadat. Okay. Single band. Glycerol has no double band. Take note. Put that in your brain cells. Glycerol has no double band. Okay? OH, 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 OH. H, H. Guys, okay, wala siya. Okay, diba? Since it's special, this glycerol, you automatically intake this when you drink whiskey, beer, sadiki, whatever wine you are going to drink. It will produce a chemical like this inside your body, but you will never see that unless you have a macroscopic eye to see this reaction inside your body. Okay, this triggers the increase of triglyceride levels also. Take note. Okay, like that. And then this is glycerol. And this is called sugar alcohol. Okay, sugar alcohol, glycerol. Okay, okay. This is an alcohol found in sugar. Okay, glycerol. Sugar alcohol. Okay, ganon. So if the question in the future will say, what is the sugar found in alcohol? You will never tempted to answer glucose, fructose, sucrose. Answer directly glycerol. So why pagduha-duha? Okay, so score na yun sa examination. Okay, like that. So plus, okay, 3 fatty acids. Okay, as I told you, glycerol is the organic base. Okay, and fatty acids, specifically our organic acid. But take note, there's a lot of OH here. 1, 2, 3. So you also have to add 3 fatty acids. So fatty acid 1, fatty acid 2, fatty acid 3. And what is fatty acid all about, Sir Sotero? It depends on the reaction inside. Okay, the food you eat every day. For example, if you keep on eating like a dairy product, something like that, then normally you will obtain butyric acid in your system. Butyric, or it's gonna be stearic acid in your system, which are saturated fats occur in meat, okay, or in the oily substances you take in daily alatul. For example, 3 times a day you eat chicken, so you are delivering too much, trans fats in your body. Okay? As long as the saturated fats. Me, I control that. I should at least have 1 chicken in a day or nothing. Okay? That's why I will never go to the canteen. Dili alatu. Okay? I normally eat chicken at lunch. Okay? So if you eat chicken 3 times, imagine what will happen to your triglycerides level. Unless you will do exercise and then do another thing that is controlling meaning you have to regulate your food intake, something like eating the right kind of food, fruits and vegetables. It doesn't matter na talaga siya kahit mag-3 chicken ka pa, because you are doing another thing to solve that issue. But if you don't do another thing to solve that issue, but then your triglycerides will become high. Okay, at least you do another thing because you intake chicken dili alatol 3 times a day. Okay, diba? Now, kilami magud siya, the feeling that we will be full, that's the main issue there, because we are just human being. We are not particular on the health benefit. That's why nobody educates us to do that also, unless we ourselves will research and read that in different reference materials. But who cares for that? Okay? It depends on the type of person already. If this person is really loving science, loving his health, in the future, then he will do that even though nobody teaches them to do that. But other people are not doing that. So that's why I do this vlogging and live streaming. At least I could help to you guys. But this is gonna be the situation. If we're going to eat more of the triglycerides inside our body, at least we have a knowledge, a little bit of knowledge to be introduced. Okay? Ganon siya. This is the most important purpose. Secondary na lang yung revenue. Okay, because when I do vlogging and live streaming, my revenue will rise in YT, in dollars, in US dollars. But the main important thing above all things is to share the academic information about health science so that they are also trying to have an encouragement to protect their health properly. And health is wealth, and prevention is better than cure. And I thank you. Okay, going back to the glycerol plus fatty acids.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Okay guys, now this is one organic compound, the glycerol. So we will put one beside the term glycerol. Plus since I put 3 fatty acids, 1, 2, 3. So this 3 fatty acids. Ganon. Okay? And then, here is the ester, the product, plus the water galore. Okay? You probably know, what is the formula of an ester, Sir Sotero? That comes from the glycine. Later, I will be showing to you. Just wait, okay? And then, gamay naman ko ang whiteboard, hindi ko matagbaw. Really? Okay? So how can I do this? A lot of formulas. Okay? The fatty acid. Let's say lang, for example, if oh my gosh, yesterday I ate, cocoa bread. So, crave ko, anak, then cocoa bread. Charot. And then cocoa bread, remember, is a baked food. And it uses also oil to do that, or to accomplish that bread, that type of bread. So it is already a saturated fat. Though it's not high, at least I'm introducing saturated fat in my body. So what is the formula of saturated fat? Okay, there's no double band for that. So I may take either butyric acid or stearic or palmitic acid. Palmitic acid is found in the palm coconut oil, is like that. Okay, be careful. Palm, P-A-L-M. So I will never use palmitic because di ko matagbaw sa yan kuan. Ari ko sa stearic, because I love stearic acid. Charot. Okay, so sa mga oils, fats and oils sa mga meat. Okay, dairy products, ganon. Okay, like that. So, akong gamitin sa first one fatty acid ang saturated. So, I will say plus saturated. SFA, saturated fatty acid, to cut that short. Okay, and then the second, let us say I will introduce the linoleic acid. Linoleic acid is very important in our body as an essential fatty acid found in olive oil, like the flaxseed oil, canola oil, rich in omega-3 fatty acid like tuna, salmon, mackerel, okay, fish oil, like that, good for the heart. Omega-3 fatty acids are technically linoleic or polyunsaturated essential fatty acid. There's no other. That's the example for this polyunsaturated, okay, fatty acids for our heart health. So, ano siya? Akong butangan ko siya linoleic ha. So, linoleic is unsaturated. So, I will put unsaturated. So, U-F-A. And the last fatty acids, for the last OH in the glycerol, I will put, for example, kuan siya, trans fats. Okay, because these 3 fatty acids that will be connected to OH here, guys, beside the glycerol, you can add any kind of fats during the chemical reaction inside your body. So let's say I will add the trans fats. So what are those trans fats? Okay, hamburger, okay, cheesy products, again, dairy products, oily products, something like that, pizza pie, okay, baked goods, cookies, like that. What else? Milk tea, ice cream, chocolate, halo-halo, name it. A lot of sweetened foods, na siya yung mga trans fats. Okay, but it's being regulated as 0, but still have trans fats because they're not telling the truth. Okay, how can the food will be released in the market if you will put 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 of the trans fats where in fact the World Food Organization doesn't allow that in all food products released into the global market. Of course, they will never put, but actually have. It's impossible. There's no trans fats really. Okay? At least I have 0.02 something, and they will round off that to 0. Para lang dyan sila mo qualify sa patent of the product licensed to be sold out globally in the whole world. In Asia, in Europe, like that, or any parts of the world. It has been regulated talaga siya. The trans fat is always equal to 0 because that is dangerous to the health. Something like that. Say for example, we have the trans fats here. Katong pang-ingon mo, di ba, mga buttered chicken, fried chicken. Okay. Expected na nila sana above normal range na hindi kaon-kaon na. Because okay, kailangan sa nila sa itong panglawas. Okay, understood to be you have higher for this. Okay? Sige, tuo mo nga, di tayo pa kanukan ana. Only for the normal range. Okay? like that. Because we have the range for this, right? Fatty acids. Okay, let's say trans fat and the third fat to be added in the OH of the glycerol. So let's say unsaturated, trans fat, etc. TF, right? TF. Oh. This is general. Now I will replace that with the molecular formula. Example of the saturated fatty acids. This is the stearic acid. Unsaturated fatty acid is linoleic fatty acids. And for the trans fats acids also could either be linoleic, okay, but only the orientation changes. Take note, this is a theory also. Okay, trans fat, guys, is under unsaturated fatty acid, but only the orientation and the bonding changes. Okay, because these unsaturated fats will produce cis orientation and trans orientation. This trans orientation is the dangerous part of this unsaturated essential fatty acids that we take every day in our lives. Okay, this is the trans fat, very dangerous. Okay, because due to a lot of process, addition of hydrogenation. Because some products needs hydrogenation process to add hydrogen like this to extend the life of the product. Also, ganon, chupa-chucho. Okay, I will never discuss that too much because that's not our topic. Okay, like that. So, muna siya natabo. So, I will erase now this. Charot. Uy, pahawa lagi na mosquito. Uy, ito ang screen. Wow. Diba? Time check. Ito yung powdered Alaska milk. 96.3 WROC. Time check is 5:30 in the afternoon. This is DJ John discussing about triglycerides formulation. Okay. Ganon. I will try to expand the structural formula so that you can see in bigger perspective because my whiteboard is very small. Okay, ganon. Okay, so ano to pag ko na mahigayon na? Okay. Now, glycerol. Akong dakuon. Carbon. Okay. Hydrogen. We are loaded with hydrogen, guys, inside our system. Okay, hydrogen. Because we drink water every day. Okay, hydrogen. Okay, OH. Ganon! Okay. So now we have added the talaga siya fatty acids. Add na ako ang kuan, stearic. Now, we need to remember what's the general formula of stearic acid. Okay, found sa mga batter, cheese, like that. Okay, the formula of that is carbon 18, H36, oxygen 2. There are 18 atoms of carbon, 36 atoms of hydrogen, and 2 atoms of oxygen. This will react in the first hydroxyl group or OH in the glycerol you intake in your body or synthesize in your body 2 ways. Okay, like this. Second, I told you that unsaturated, right? So linoleic. The formula of linoleic acid is C18, H32, and O2. 18 atoms of carbon, 32 atoms of hydrogen, and 2 atoms of oxygen. That is attaching to the second hydroxyl group of our glycerol. Now, we have the third fatty acid, which is the trans fat. Something like that. Still the same formula with this C18-32O2, but the bonding will change on the trans configuration of our arrangement of this carbon and hydrogen chain. Ganon. So, to avoid that, let's just use oleic acid, right? To make it sure. Because tantamount siya. So, let's use oleic. What's formula of oleic acid? C18H34O2. So, this is the formula of oleic acid found also in our vegetable oils, something like that. Okay, most of this linoleic and oleic found in our oils used in our cooking. And then it will penetrate to our food, it will go into our system. You get the point? And after the reaction, it builds like this inside our body because this will react to nucleic acid, protein, like this, glycerol, triglyceride, and all, name it. all macromolecules inside our body. That's why it will trigger the increasing level of your triglycerides at the same time your cholesterol level, something like that. Okay, now we have here the oleic acid. Just memorize. I will just put, okay, stearic. Okay. Stearic acid comes from stearate, polyatomic anion, and just add H will become acid. That's the rule of an acid in chemistry. Whether in organic or inorganic chemistry, if you add H with a particular base, it will become an acid automatically without question. Okay, so we have stearic acid. And then we have also linoleic acid. Okay, like that. And then number 3 is oleic acid. I remember also it's flashback in my memory that we have one question in a board examination that states which of the following is the formula of linoleic acid. Really, it comes out and there's a little bit of confusion. There's also lanolin, linoleic. Of course, I answered this. Okay, it adds points at the time. Okay. I told you, I keep on reading always since elementary, high school, and college. Ang diferensya lang, I'm not really that good in mathematics. Because in engineering, a lot of mathematics. Siguro, if I am very, very smart in mathematics, I don't know. Because my aim at that time, I want to become a top-notcher. Really, when I graduated in chemical engineering, I want to become a top-notcher, really. Even though you will see me, I'm arrogant, that's real and that's honesty. Okay, inside myself. Because if I don't want to aim high, maybe I will fail. At least I aim high, then I will be passing. Something like that. Even though I'm not good in mathematics, in fact, the issue I'm not very good in mathematics, still I have to aim that I want to become a top-notcher. Imagine. Okay. How stupid am I? Oh my gosh. Really right. So, we have the oleic acid here. Okay, ganon. Oh, okay. In here, guys, we can say, oh, Sotero, you combined the general formula with the structural formula for the purpose of discussion only, but later on we will be able to break down that. Okay, for example, because the whiteboard is very, not spacious. The length and width, the dimension, and the whiteboard is very small. So I cannot expand further my explanation to the highest level. So, okay. Now, ato namin siya i-break guys. Uy, ato namin siyang putlon ha. Bila sa ta mag-illustrate sa kanang mga taas juga siya guys. Imagine 18 carbons. It will go to another wall in my room. I will just make this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 carbons. Ganon. How many hydrogens? 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, it will finish very long time really. I will go there extend to the highest level. Okay? So, I just put the general formula and attach the functional group RCOH in the OH here to make it an agreement. The kapoy suwa at the same time, yung lugar. Okay? Like that. Okay, go. Ako na siyang ibungkag. Oh, ganon. Because as we can notice in our biosynthesis in our body is always a reaction that will decompose and will combine. It's always like that. Bungkag o i-combine. Bungkag, combine. Bungkag, combine. And it's happened in our metabolism. Anabolism and catabolism. Actually, metabolism composed of 2 types, the catabolism and the anabolism. The anabolism is really the one that produces larger molecules from smaller molecules. And this is biosynthesizing, like that. But in catabolism, this starts from a big or larger molecules will be reduced or split down into smaller molecules or fewer molecules that is really detoxifying and removing all the waste from our body and the calories will be burned out away from our body. So that is catabolism through the process of catalytic process, breakdown of larger molecules. So we need catabolism, not the anabolism, if we do the exercise, walking, biking, cycling, like that. Specifically, precise to use the word catabolism, not anabolism, since we are only dealing in an understood point of view because we are not concerned for the terminology because we are not a scientist, we are not a doctor, so we just use one word, metabolism. Okay, but to be strict, that is catabolism. Okay, exercise, jogging, going to the gym is catabolism, not anabolism. So if you try to be strict chemistry grammar, we will never use the metabolism. We will just use catabolism or catabolism metabolic cycle. Because metabolism, as I said earlier, composed of two, anabolism and catabolism. Then why using the word metabolism? That's general for two, right? Okay, since we agree globally that if we mean exercise, that means metabolism, then no question, that is burning out only, burning out of calories. But if you face examination in the future, that would not be the same. Okay? For example, board examination, employment examination that have science questions, okay, quiz ball, quiz fair, or subjects, if you take up another subject related to organic chemistry, then you can never say that word metabolism only will be used in catabolism. You get the point? Let's be technically precise and correct or accurate in using the chemical and formula or the process itself. Ganon. Okay, going back. So if I say stearic acid, I have, I will just draw here first at the bottom. Okay, nakakaloka. Time check. Grabe kayo kumakayaw-yaw. Okay. Looking back to my mobile phone, 5:22 in the afternoon, 96.3, double up. Ganon. Okay. So going back to stearic acid. Okay, stearic acid, carbon 18, H36, O2. Guys, as much as I could, I try to be detailed, that's why. And there is no time limit. Okay? Maybe when I became a professor in the future, let's say for example, only, I don't know what's been happening in my endeavor after here. Okay, so maybe I will cut off also my discussion. It happens only, there's no limit. It's only blogging and live streaming, sharing of information in interactive and virtual platform of, sharing of information, something like that. So that's why there's no time limit. Okay, and I enjoy doing this also during my day offs, right? Okay, now if we try to incorporate the carboxyl group, which has the formula of, I said, RCOOH. Ganon, RCOOH. And then we said carbon, double bond oxygen, alkyl group, OH. I will put that here in the stearic, right? This one. So that I can band that with the OH of the glycerol. Of course, that's reaction, combination reaction, or synthesizing, right? Now, count how many oxygen and hydrogen in your carboxylic group. Something like that, right? Now, treat this R as your hydrocarbon chain. The C and H, something like that, and attach that here. So, kaya ako magibawala ng suot ko, kaya taas kayo siya, then I have to make another way. So, okay. So, how many carbon here? 1. So, you will say carbon 17. Okay. So, I have 36 atoms of hydrogen. So, I will say, because there are 1 hydrogen here also in the carboxyl functional group, so they will become H35. Right? And then oxygen 7. So I have already 2 oxygen in the carboxyl function of the RCOH. I will minus 2 this. So this will become 7 minus 2, 5. Okay. Then I will carry this formula here and I can attach the fractional group here so that it's easy for me to have a chemical product already. So this is 17. Ganon siya chucho. Okay. C17, H35, O5, and then the carboxylic group, C, okay, double bond oxygen, and the OH here. Take note, this is the most interesting part on the bonding. This is gonna be a covalent bonding. Okay? Let's review covalent bonding also, okay, in chemistry. It's be using in physical chemistry, biochemistry, like that. Chupa-chuchu. A lot of chemistry, chupa-chuchu. Okay? So now, take note, the OH in the functional group of the stearic acid, there's an OH here. OH plus OH will be happening. What will be happening? Normally, by algebra, you will say OH raised to the power 2 or OH parenthesis subscript 2, meaning OH times OH. Oh, ganon. Then there are 2 OH. Okay, like that. For example, X times X is equals to X squared. You get the point? It's gonna be like that you're understanding first, basing on math for this OH plus OH. Or you can say also 2 OH. Because there are two OH, and you say two OH. But in organic chemistry, you will never do that. Okay? It will not be applied here. The application will be, you will do it one by one. So OH plus OH. Okay, there are two hydrogen, like H2. And there are two oxygen, O2. So what is the product? If you try to restrict, if you add two hydroxyl group, it will become a hydrogen peroxide. Okay, the agua oxinada in our kitchen. But we are not after for the hydrogen peroxide. We are after of the water. So how will we do that? We need to remove the other one atom of the oxygen to become an H2O. So that one oxygen atom will be left that serve as our linkage between the OH part and the fatty acid here. Or else we cannot attach the fatty acid here if we try to remove that all as a hydrogen peroxide. So what's the purpose of having the triglycerides in our body if you were just producing a hydrogen peroxide in the first place? So that will not be the natural process of doing that. Okay? So we don't care about hydrogen peroxide. We care for the water. Okay. Now, OH here, OH will be reacting. So the H2O here will be expelled going to the product. So it's gonna be this one plus water na siya. Okay, for this first group in the OH group na atong gibutangan. Second, ano siya sa cherry? Also itong second, linoleic. Okay, same principle also. Linoleic acid, how many carbon atoms? Ako lang ganyan, no? C18H 34 like that, 32O2. Okay? Guys, kung makalimot ka sa formulation, always take note that 18 carbon atoms din na siya ang mga fatty acid chuba-chuba-chuchu. Okay? Put that in your brain cells that if a fatty acids, no other thing, always 18 number of carbon atoms. Okay? And also 2 atoms of oxygen. And the hydrogen will be dependent during the drawing moment of the orientation. Or if you could memorize, then do it. The pattern will be from steric to oleic to linoleic. It will be just subtracted with 2 atoms if we refer the hydrogen during the memorization. Okay, you should memorize. So, 18 atoms carbon siya ang mga fats, chuba-chuchu. So, what will change only is the hydrogen. So, the pattern is always subtract by 2. Okay, for example, steric, 36 at first. And then it will become oleic, so 34. It will become linoleic, so and carry over the 18 and the O2, which is constant, then bingo. You can memorize the specific formula of this saturated fat, trans fat, and unsaturated fat that we are taking every day in our daily lives, daily, ala tool, in our breakfast, in our lunch, and our dinner. So, now, if we have carbon 18 here, same thing. So, carbon 17. Okay. Now, if we have already the 32, because we're linoleic, so 32. So, we have 2 hydrogen in the carboxyl group that bali na OH. So, ano kita po na ng higayuna, isabtrakan sa namin mo siya. You get the point? Okay, COOH, so pinamay mo isabtrakan na niya. Okay, so it will become carbon, OOH, okay? Sabtrakan mo siya usa. Di ba? Usa na? Yes. COOH na siya. So, carbon 17H31. Ang green pala, sakto siya guys. Usa lagi guys, 31. Then, ang oxygen mo guys, okay, oxygen mo guys, okay? Pila na yung isang track sa oxygen na nangiday yun na. So, wala na kay oxygen, sorry ha. Wala na kay oxygen. Okay, na ba kay oxygen group dito sa carboxyl group? Sorry, a bigger apology. In the hydroxyl RCOOH, there are 2 oxygen there. So, wala na kay oxygen dari area yung isumpot sa imong alkyl chuba-chuchu. In which, this is also more logical because an alkyl group doesn't contain oxygen. Okay, ganun ba mga, dali na mo masayo ka, dali na mo ma-catch up because you understand what you are doing. Okay, like that. So, 31. Ganon. And then, i-connect na po din mo OH, carbon, double bond, oxygen, ganon. So, remove this one and plus H2O here. Ganon. And then the third one will be the trans fats, considering linoleic. Okay, ulit. So, ulit lang sa ka. Okay. Depende lang mag-ibig guys sa mga fatty acids ang ipuno rin sa OS sa glycerol ha. It depends on you. Okay, because we don't know really exactly specific what are the fatty acids that will react to our sugar alcohol or the glycerol. Okay, like that. Because again and again and again, all of us have glycerol level, whether you drink alcoholic beverage or not. Okay, let's make this clear and agree. All of us have alcohol content whether you drink alcoholic beverage or not. To those who will not drink alcoholic beverage or not, it is produced in biosynthesized reaction inside our body. To those who drink, the more they have glycerol in their body, the more their triglycerides will increase. Ganon. So, muna siya. So, we'll try, ano lang siya, olic, diba? So, again, OH, C, di may gusto na naman siya usa, sa 17 yapon, ang hangin siya sa may gusto na usa, di ba? Sa size ko siya. Okay, so it will become, since 34 siya, it will become 33. Ganon. Plus water, plus water, plus water. Ganon. Muna na yung triglycerides sa inyong lawas. Okay, inside your body, we have this chemical reaction. Okay, if you get sample, for example, in your blood or in your urine, and I will go to the laboratory and I will have an analysis of by mix technology, and then this molecular formula will appear in the screen. Okay, this gonna be the triglyceride. But this is not our concern because we are only concerned for the level. Okay, but for technical people, such as the scientists, the doctors, the engineers, we mostly consider this as our basis of understanding of what are the things to do in order we can prevent the over intake of these triglycerides, like that our brain will work faster. Oh, what's gonna be happening? Like, oh, okay, like that. So maglaro-laro ng mga imagination. That's why we have, at least if you want to become a scientist, engineer, and a doctor or whatever, you should have at least a wild imagination, because you cannot see molecules in your naked eye. Okay, in this world will be governed by molecules. All the laser operation, the movement of your car, all are molecules really. Okay? Get the point? Muna siya. So, like this. So, it's gonna be like this. So, muna na mo itong formula ng hinumduman. Ato din karohon. Atong paano, mawa na ang mga 8 galore para manindot ng atong equation. Mag-use ko red. Red na ano. Guys, uy, kakaloka. Taas tayo, di ba kung i-explain ang pinag-ilan? Okay. One shot. Okay. Disclaimer, I'm not very good in problem solving. Okay. I'm just on the theory, concepts, and principles. Okay. But it doesn't mean I'm not good, but sakto lang siya, average. Okay. Or a little bit high average, but not really superior. Okay. Like that. Okay. Red pen. Nahugaw lagi siya because of the black residues carbon, right? Carbon atoms. When I erase this and there's particles, that's carbon atom because normally carbon are black. So it's gonna be like that. You are very observant to the particles around you. Ganun ba, no? So it's gonna be a very happy moment to analyze things around you that made up or composed of atoms and molecules. Ganon. Okay. So, ay naman palagi na mga politika ka, dahil mahimo ng politika. Okay? Ganon. Pero okay na gyapon, but i-balance. Okay. Something like that. So we have this, right? Now. So, okay. We can have now our ester, or our triglyceride as this. So, tadadat, 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 H, tadadat, 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 tadadat. So, ato na i-connect. Mas ang mabilin yan, oxygen, pinalagpot. Our water are being expelled na in the reaction. So, ito become oxygen na lang. Oxygen, carbon, double band, oxygen. So, this is our linkage here for the attachment of the OH glycerol alcohol plus the fatty acids carboxyl group at the corner. So like that. Isumpot ito mo, carbon 17, yan, chupa-chup-chop, H35. Oh. Then, again, the same story. O, a single band, carbon double band oxygen, and then C17, H, because that is 34, right? For the linoleic atom equalizer, so let's say 31 na siya. Okay, and then for the last OH, okay, for the last OH, we have C, double band, oxygen, and then C17 again. Then for the oleic, we have 34 atoms of oxygen minus 1, so it is 33. Why minus 1? Because the RCOH, guys, okay? RCOH, there are only one hydrogen here to be subtracted. Because I avoided this too long structural formula. I can make it, or we can make it, but you know, the whiteboard is very small. Palusot, it really is very small. Okay? Like that. Ganon. So take note, guys, here. This is now the ester linkage. Ester. Now we can formulate the ester functional group na through this. So, check. Oxygen, carbon, oxygen, and this is the alkyl here. Right? Well, as what I told you, alkyl composed of carbon and hydrogen. So this part here. Oh, see, it's alkyl na siya, alkyl. Okay, ganon, chupa-chucho. Now, the other R is here. Okay? R. So, our formula for the functional group of the ester is C, double band oxygen, R, single banded with oxygen, and there's another R here, apostrophe R. The apostrophe R here, guys, is this thing from the glycerol. And the R is this, the carbon and hydrogen chain of the fatty acids we attach to the alcohol. And our linkage here is here, right? CO like that. So this is our ester linkage here. So meaning to say, triglycerides are esters compound composed of alcohol and fatty acids. In short, like that. So it's very clear. Now, what you can notice for this? Is this a hydrophobic or a hydrophilic substance? Okay, ano yung kaana? So ano yung pag-determine na yun?
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Okay, hydrophobic. How can we differentiate hydrophobic and... wala na ko yung microphone kasi nalubat na siya. Charot! Okay? Okay guys, ako na nakakontingog. In fairness, ganon. Okay, now, how can you say between hydrophobic and hydrophilic? We need to discuss this because in metabolism topic of biochemistry, water is very important. How it will be dissolved to water, how it will be dissolved to fat, so that it will be expelled from our excretory system during exercise, during sweating, so that the fat content that has been break down from larger molecules to lower molecules are being wasted away because we don't need that. So we have burning of calories outside from our calories, we mean are those carbohydrates, fats, nucleic acid, and then it's burned outside after our anatomy structures had performed their normal function. The liver, the pancreas, the intestine, the gut, the brain, chupa-chucho, the respiratory system. All of them will work to release those unwanted, minerals, vitamins that we don't need. Of course, common sense. Okay, they will expel that to our system. Ganon siya. Okay, so muna ni siya ang atong hitabo nga triglycerides. Muna siya nga formula. Okay? Like that. But if we need also to make that more comprehensive, okay, let's try. But for another segment, we need to emphasize what's really happening in our body. If this oleic acid, salicylic acid, blah blah blah, what will react there also? Nagpaabot na si protein, nagpaabot na si nucleic acid. Oh my gosh, I need this, and then too much, I cannot control anymore, and then diabetes will come in. Ganon, di ba siya special? Okay, like that. So this is triglyceride. Okay guys, okay, very clear. Any questions so far about triglycerides? Okay, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just going to research out something like that in combination of my profession of being a registered chemical engineer. Okay, any questions so far? Nothing. Okay, Bye-bye. God bless everybody. You can comment down below in the comment section, and you can subscribe my YT channel if you want to. And you can also click the notification bell for some newest updates of I Am a Singer, talking about occupational safety and health, science, a little bit of mathematics, personal vloggings, or whatever, or singing moment like that. And bye-bye. Stay safe. Have a nice and a beautiful Friday. Wow. Okay. Sarap. Ganon. Kaloka.